Hey guys, so we've been talking about artwork. I mentioned that I had too much of it. I set up for the open studio for this weekend. It's been pretty slow turnout. Yesterday I had a couple people, maybe three, four people, something like that. Today I had a couple this morning. I'm thinking there may be more in the afternoon or later in the day. So we'll see how that goes. But since I'm here and I have space in my studio, I was looking around setting up for the open studio. I actually put up most of my paintings outside because the studio is very small and there's not enough space for me to display all my work anyway. And it's easier for people to kind of walk around outside and then come in and I can talk to them a little bit and I can go outside and talk to them. This is the time of year in Florida, it starts to get really hot. So like the minute you step outside, you start to sweat, and it can be nice in the mornings, and it's kind of, they moved it to earlier in the day this year, so it's a little bit nicer. But anyway, so I was looking, this is the first thing that's gonna go. This is a plate for a litho print that didn't turn out well, and I've already cut up the prints that I made to use for other things, and just use up the paper. So this one's gonna go chucked in the trash. And I've done stone lithography and I've done this with some more modern aluminum plates. They both work well. However, I don't have a litho press and I don't plan on doing lithography anymore. So this is step one going in the trash can. I kept this around because I wanted to show people what lithography looks like when you're printing it, but at this point, I'm done. And I found some more portfolios that have artwork in them that I was like, oh, I could get rid of this. I really could get rid of this. So I'm gonna go through those. I have some more out in the living room. All right, so I have a big portfolio here, and this is paper in it and various other things. Most of this is actually unused paper, so this probably is gonna stay here. And it's gonna give me some time. I'm just gonna kind of inventory and see what I have so that you know that I can work on it. So this is Arches watercolor paper. It's not bright white, although it says bright white. See, I have cold press, I have warm white and bright white, so I have about 6 sheets. That'll make some nice watercolors. I've been working smaller scale for a while just because of space issues and because larger pieces take longer and I have kids, so smaller pieces take less time. I have a pad of tracing paper for projects that use that. I had that pad for a really long time, so it might be time to share that with somebody else. This looks like an extra kind of scrap piece. This might be something I'll give my kids to draw on because it's not my favorite paper. I actually know what I use that drawing for, and it's not my favorite drawing. This is drill art, so this is something I use for kind of various projects. It's going to be used for printmaking. I'm thinking about using this for some mixed media work, so this is something kind of used as a mask. You can use it with inks, and it's archival, so you can kind of use it with other materials. This is another piece of tracing paper. So this pad, don't judge me guys, this is from my husband's grandmother. I'm hoping it's just hers or it was her husband's, my husband's grandfather's. And it's seen better days. It's kind of crinkly and yellowed a little bit. So this is another piece that my kids could draw on, so I'm going to put it in the kids pile. And I'm not just shoving this down the line. My kids are running out of drawing paper, so they are going to use it, and they go through tons of drawing paper. So it's going to get used up. I have some black paper from this black pad for pastel and charcoal work. I actually really like drawing on black paper. It sounds like kind of counterintuitive, but some of the lights and darks you get with the paper, when you draw in the light rather than drawing in the dark, it's almost like the plant is emerging out of the shadows, or whatever you're drawing is emerging out of the shadows. I'll show you one of my drawings that I did. It's a basil leaf, basil plant in a pot, and it just has this really kind of luminous quality. So I want to keep that because I've used that, and I've also done some notebooks out of that, and it's really nice. Really nice paper. This was for a watercolor I did a while back. I don't need it. I'm not going to make another one, so that one's getting chucked. This is kind of a dingy piece of paper. Even my kids are not going to like that, so I'm just going to chuck that. Have a couple things for some illustrations that I worked on a while back. It was sort of a project with a friend, didn't quite pan out, but it was fun to do anyway. There's some info here about doing sort of children's literature and illustration, even possibly writing some work. This is from when I was in college, guys. As enjoyable as it is, I think it's time. It's time. I haven't looked at it in a while, so I'm not going to. I have another black piece that's a darker, heavier paper. That's still usable, I think. I have a really sturdy, like 300 or 200 pound. It's a really sturdy piece of watercolor paper in here. Kind of hard to take out. Let's see. It's like cardstock, you know, it's like makes that wonderful sound. I really like that. More black paper. And then this is actually a recent acquisition. This is for a photo backdrop for when I do photograph my calligraphy or even artwork. I can put it down here and photograph it with that kind of simple background so that I don't get a big mess behind my artwork, because that happens sometimes with calligraphy because I don't have time to sort it out and have a special spot for photography. So I'm planning on creating that spot in my studio before I bring my stuff back in here. So that's something that's going to be kind of a step-by-step process. So we're going to move on to the next portfolio. Hold on, guys. Here is another. It's not an advertisement. This is just where I used to shop because it was near me. But I've kept stuff in these kind of drawers and bags. And this is paper that is, they're like prints that were done as proofs and then adjusted, and they're kind of just like been scribbled on. The size of the paper is partly why I've kept these. Well, for one, I thought, you know, for posterity, I'm supposed to keep everything. I don't know, like I mentioned earlier, somebody told me that, and so that's what I did. But I'm getting to that point where that's not really feasible anymore. And I'm trying to see if these are clean enough to use in bookmaking when I'm gluing things down. And these two do not seem to be that way, so I'm going to toss these. And it's really funny because this, the last 2 days when I met people here that have come by and looked at the artwork, they go, I don't have any space in my house for artwork. You know, it's lovely. I love art, but I don't have any more wall space. I put all my art up and it's done. And I'm like, I understand. I have that same problem. I have my artwork. I have my grandmother's artwork. I have my great-grandfather's artwork. I have my husband's grandmother's and grandfather's artwork, plus his grandmother's father's artwork. Not all of it, but some bits and pieces. And so, like, I have art. I don't need any more. I don't need to go out and buy it. Sometimes I wish I could because it would be really nice to have something new, but I have these artworks that are just, you know, been around a while. I'm probably going to be around a while. So this one's printed on both sides. Means I can't really use it. And stuff like this could be used in collage. I've done a little bit of collage recently, and I always hated collage because of something somebody else told me again. It's like, I feel like I've had to process everything else told me to the point where I haven't been able to do work. And now I'm having to teach myself how to do art that I enjoy because I'm actually allowed to just make art. It's very weird because they all had really good intentions, but some of the stuff that stuck with me was just like very unhelpful. So, love my teachers, like, don't get me wrong. I just, for some reason, early on I had some advice that just didn't work for me. This is another one. Like, you have to proof your artwork a whole bunch of times sometimes to get to where it needs to go. This was one of those prints that really didn't work for me until the very end when I did a roll of color. And part of this was just testing the colors that I was working, trying to mix. This one is still kind of, it's not super dingy. I might see if the kids want to draw on this. I've been doing some artwork on the back of some of the old stuff that I had recently. Alright, another one. This one's actually clean enough that I think I could use this for bookmaking as a gluing base. So I'm gonna leave that there. This is like an early stage of the print, same print. This one's also pretty clean on the back, so I'm just gonna hold on to that. I recently discovered that I don't have to keep a huge number of scrap pages, just some, so that I can use them for what I need. So here I'm moving on to a different print. Everything was wrapped in tissue paper back then, so there's a lot of tissue paper. These, let's see the back of it really more than the front. These are pretty dirty, so I'm just gonna chuck these. This was a kind of a color test of how I wanted the colors to look, so I could match them later with the inks. It was an etching print. This one was one of the color did not work quite so well. It was a test. This one is also really clean, so I'm going to keep that for glue. Backing. I really like to be eco when I can, so that I don't waste stuff. I'm going to have to buy useless papers to do. This one is pretty clean, so I think this will work as well. I think 4 is probably enough for that. But yeah, this one's too dirty. It's kind of dingy on the back, so roll that up. Stick it in the cash. I had teachers tell me that this stuff is important to keep, but the truth is, I mean, the work that I did, this was an addition of like 3, and I think it ended up having like 2 good prints out of the edition. And it's like, nobody's gonna look at this in 100 years and go, I wonder how many stages she had of printing this, you know? Like maybe if you're trying to be Picasso or you're trying to be Da Vinci, I don't know, maybe they'll care, but it just doesn't, I don't know what world people were in back then. Because it was the all of the masters kind of situation. This one's pretty decent on the back, so might give this to the kids, see what they will draw. And sometimes if the edges are clean on these, you could use the edges for something else. Drawing small drawings, but I'm not in that place right now, so I don't want to keep these for that purpose. I have other paper for that. This one you can see like marker through it, and the front is pretty gross, so I'm just gonna shuffle this. So I think what I've come to with the art and why I'm going through all this is just like I need a purpose for keeping it, right? So unless I'm keeping it for a specific reason where it's going to have a use or purpose, or it's going to serve some really long-term goal, it's not worth it for me to keep it. And I'm just ready to kind of let it go. This one is super clean, so this is definitely going to go for gluing book binding. I think this is probably clean enough for the kids. And you know what? They will tell me if they don't like it, so then I can throw it out. And more oil on the back, so it's not usable. This was another print that like I literally. The edition is one print because it was so labor intensive. It took me so long to make one print that I just, like, that was enough. One for the school and that was it. This one's pretty clean. We can maybe use that one. And let's see, this one's super strong close-up. Okay, so we're going through that. That's going bye-bye. One of the hard parts about throwing stuff away, and I kind of went through something I already had in the back and added a few more things in a new trash bag. But I did this print last year, and it was kind of a first lino cut for a long time. I have a new press, so I can kind of start working with that. But I literally went through and printed, and some of these are different color variations or whatever, but so many like just didn't turn out well to be included in the edition. It's really frustrating to have to throw out this many, but literally you can't use the back because the back shows through from the ink in the front, and some of them are smushed, they're smeared, they're just like not well printed, so I don't have any use for these. I can't really keep them for anything. I mean, I could use them as for like scraps for gluing on, but they're small, and I have bigger sheets that are higher quality and sturdier for that. So I just have to chuck these, So bye. This is a really old one I did in like high school. And I've actually sold one of these, but it's just, they're all badly printed. My God, this one too is not my favorite. So, even though they're an edition or whatever, I'm not that attached to it. Time to let it go. This is a calligraphy calendar I did for my wall a couple of years ago. Let me know what you guys think about it. If you think it's something you'd be interested in. I have thought about putting this up on like Etsy or something as a print that you guys could do for, not for 2018, but for another year. So just something to think about. Let me know in the comments. Here's another one. Let's look through. That's one of the fronts. Here we go. We got, this is a figure drawing that I've kept, even though it's on newsprint. This is actually one that for some reason I like it. I don't know, I liked the creating process of it, the line work. It felt like really good to me when I made it. So that's something, like, even though it's on newsprint, I've kept that around for a while. So I'm gonna keep that. This is a sketch for painting that I've scrapped, so I'll scrap the drawing. Let's see, what else we got? A few more figure studies. I know why I kept some of these. I liked this model, and for some reason I liked the pictures that came out from her when I was drawing. I did not like them when I did watercolors of her. They just were, I don't know, stuffy or something. They just weren't very good. What was that? Let's see. Figures. This is somebody hanging off the edge of a bed. I don't know how. Just kind of weird poses. Looks like I've gone through this folder quite a bit and thrown some stuff out and kept something, but it's always good to review. I'm a little torn on some of these. I mean, this one's like a decent drawing. Kept that. Some of these are figures from a long time ago. Cats. I don't love cats. This is from a weird time in my life, these pictures. Probably something to let go of. But I'm gonna think on these ones a little bit longer. Because they're kind of actually, most of them were made with intention rather than in a classroom. And since I have very few works that I've done with intention, compared to like some other stuff that I have, I feel like I want to keep those a little bit longer. Might change my mind at some point. This is an envelope with a drawing of a cat. Sometimes you draw things. Not really sure what this is. Some really kind of weird drawings. I know where these were from. This one I might keep because I really like this cat. I don't have tons of drawings or any pictures, but something about the drawings of the cats I really like. These ones can go. This was sort of a weird drawing. I forget if this was an assignment or something, but it was sort of abstracting a human body, a little cubism type stuff. It's an interesting investigation. I'm not really sure I'm going to keep it though. Studying a figure. I'm going to have to, I think I'll check it. See, sometimes it gets hard, right? Some of the stuff is like, boom, 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 go through it, get out. And some of it's like, oh, I'm not sure. Oh, this one on the floor. There's a concept. Not something I want to keep around. Then I have like a really large figure drawing. I hope YouTube doesn't mind figure paintings. I don't know. Maybe I'll blur them. The special parts here. Meanwhile, it is kind of a cool size. It looks like maybe it's been gotten some damage. It's got some oil spots in the back, so I think I'm going to chuck this one. That's here good. Good figure painting. Sometimes I keep them because like I've not done another one like that before, or I haven't done one since. Maybe not the best reason to. Best reason to keep things, probably not. Okay, this is a print. I still have these prints, and I do actually still like this one, so I'm going to keep this. Put it up here for now. That's off of a lithograph with, yeah, it's a couple of different plates with color and stuff on the lithograph. This is what I'm talking about, having other people's artwork. I don't know whose artwork this actually is, this print. There is a name, but it's really hard to read. It's kind of faded over time. But this was actually on my grandparents' wall when I was a kid for like ever. It's a guy digging up potatoes. They grew up in the country, so I feel like they bought that for a reason and wanted to keep it. So I kept that because it has fond memories for me. Again, I don't have any space on my walls to put it up. This was similar to my palm print trees. I actually still like this. I want to try this maybe in a different medium or digitally try and do that and use it for cards or something. This one, I mentioned in an earlier video about how people were like creeped out by some of the weird stuff I did, and they said like I should make it pretty. And I took some of them and just kind of investigated. And there was actually another artist who did kind of a little bit more grotesque portraits at the time when I was in school, and I talked to her and did this after that, and it was just sort of like a mythical, I don't know, fawn, crazy, weird, bug nose. I don't know. Sometimes I just feel like feel that way. I don't know if that's the right word for it. Sometimes you just feel like you need something a little bit pushes the envelope. something that isn't the prettiest and fanciest and whatever. I know when I show people weird stuff, they're kind of like, huh? But you know, not all art is meant to be pretty, right? Okay, let's see, this one is portrait. I'll keep that as part of the series. There's another nude. I mean, it's okay. Maybe if I cropped it down, made it look decent. The face is missing. And it's just more of a study than, I don't know. I think maybe I'm on the fence on that one. Okay, this portfolio has been reinforced multiple times on the inside and taped on the bottom multiple times. So I think since this is empty, I'm actually going to just get rid of this too. Still has handles, which is pretty miraculous because half of them the handles fall off. But this is one of those cheap portfolios, and I'm kind of tired of hanging them around. So I'm gonna go wash my hands and take this full trash bag out. Okay. I decided not to chuck this portfolio right away. I'm going to be going through another portfolio that has like chalk, charcoal, Conti crayon, like everything possibly messy that you could find in it. And anything that I chalk, I'm just going to put in here because it's going to be a little easier than trying to fluff that stuff all over my studio. So it's going to just slide in real fast instead of making a huge mess. For those of you who don't know Conti crayon, it's a little bit more like, most of it is clay colored, but it does come in black also. It's a little more dense than charcoal, a little more, I don't know if it has wax or oil, something, I think wax in it, that makes it a little bit stick together more, but it's still chalky like charcoal is, just not quite as dusty. And it can make beautiful, beautiful drawings with, you know, it's got white, black, and that sort of kind of clay, red clay color. So it's beautiful, but it's super messy if you don't fix, and I know I have not fixed these drawings, so I already touched one and it was like, ew, okay. This is a drawing I did of my cat. I love that cat. However, I don't really love this drawing. It's just like the back of the cat, and the composition is not that good, right? So I hate to say bye-bye, but it's time. It's messy and it's time. This one is a figure. I'm not going to show you guys because it's like nude. I don't know what YouTube's policies on nude art. It probably says no. So I'm going to just leave that there. I kind of like the drawing. It's not finished and it's not the most pretty drawing, but it has some parts to it that I like. This is a figure. This is done in oil pastel. Sort of like the color combination, that sort of blue and orange. It is figurative, but it doesn't always strike that way. I just kind of like it. This were studies of oranges on sheets. It's kind of a cool concept in terms of like geography and like how things are positioned in space. This is Conti crayon, this orange stuff, and then the black to go with it. And you can do kind of similar to charcoal. It was a fun assignment, but I don't feel like it's gonna really, I don't know. I can't sell it. I don't plan on using it for anything. I don't see the point of keeping it. You know what I mean? Like, do artists sell everything they make? I don't think so. I think there's like an intention behind the work that you make. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, I touched one piece with Conti crayon, and it's everywhere. These are like composition studies. This was another oil pastel, the kitchen timer. I kind of like that one. It reminds me of the humor behind some of the art. So this is the one I touched. This is like our version of nude descending the staircase. It was a study in a class. It's not my favorite. This was kind of studying the work with the fauves, bright colors, very messy. It's got a lot of mess from all the charcoal it's been sitting with, so it doesn't look good anymore. Not that I really want to sell it, it's not really my style. This was one for puff art that we did, and this is like literally going through my whole college courses. This one, I actually like this portrait. This, I've done a lot of portraits in like kind of unusual colors, and mowing lawn. This one is another kind of cubisty sort of charcoal Conte crayon thing. Not my style. I'm sure if my family seller will tell me to sell everything, and like, I'm just over this stuff. I'm over it. I now have proof that I made it. It's on video, right? So I will not regret throwing it out. Sort of like this humorous one. It's not a very good drawing, but it's a cat toy. Like that was sort of a tigery, jaguar-y, I don't even know what animal it was, but sort of hopping through like a natural landscape. It's sort of funny. Kind of I don't know. I like humor. Quirky humor. This one I think is a part of a chair. Sort of abstracting reality kind of thing. And I've done a fair amount of that with my work. Not necessarily abstracting, but finding like an abstract subject in something real. Like I've done part of a face with just like the eye. This is an older self-portrait. It's not my favorite, but I have a collection of self-portraits, so I'm going to keep that just as a posterity kind of thing. This charcoal drawing, I actually do like a lot. I'm not big on saving charcoal because it is so messy, but this is one that I actually really like the kind of drama of that piece. And this one is another self-portrait, not a terribly good one, but it's gonna stay there with those two. I might check that one, but I'll say that for now. This one, portraits. Do I want to keep it? I don't really like that one. Let's see. I don't even sell any of these charcoal ones because I just don't like putting them out there. It's a good mess. Get it on people's hands and stuff. I'd have to wrap them all. It's another self-portrait drawing. Not a good one again. It's an old one, but whatever. There's a couple of, oh yeah, these were portraits too. We were doing some stuff with Cy Twombly's kind of style, scribble drawings. I might get rid of those. They're not my favorite. Cy Twombly just is not. Okay, we're gonna check those. It's an interesting exercise, not an interesting thing to keep. This piece is, I'm going to keep it for emotional reasons. This is one that I did in class, and the gentleman that's in it actually ended up passing away shortly thereafter. So I keep that around. It's kind of weird thing, but I do that, paint pictures or draw pictures of people who are about to pass away. Here's a figure study, but it's like part of a figure. This is what I was talking about, abstracting kind of larger things, and it's something I did in early days. This is another Conte portrait. Again, it's, so. This was a sort of cubist still life thing. We'll say bye to that one. Not my fave. There's a figure drawing in here for YouTube's sake. I won't put it up, but that was just a cover sheet for the other one, so we'll keep those. Some pencil drawings that are figures. This one was my teacher at the time. I did some color pencil drawings for a while that were different colors. This one, I went to a figure drawing class at one point, and the woman who held the class, she a lot of times either had the person lay down flat or stand up against a wall, and it was like not a terribly interesting way to draw people. So I have a lot of those, and some were fun and some were sort of silly. This was a comment on fast food in America. Can you guess? You are what you eat. Alright, that's a fun one, but I don't really know that I want to keep that one. I actually did several versions of that when I was younger. A lot of figure drawings in here. Interesting patterns, working with collage, kind of building up an image. Not my favorite, and there's another one of those Cy Twombly portraits. This one I actually like a little bit better than the other ones, but I kind of like the peaceful stillness of it. There's self-portraits, and there's some like figures that are just not real good watercolors, so I'm gonna chuck those. And so, like I was talking about, doing colorful figures, just sort of work that I did. And there's some more that are a little more refined, but acrylic paintings and things, but it's not really where I'm going with it. Let's see what else we got. As I mentioned, I did more than one, so this is a print that I did of that same painting. I'm gonna keep the print. I kind of like the print. Let's see. Some of these figures I did small paintings of in color, but there's some better ones out there, and I don't want to keep that one in particular. I don't even know what this was. Some kind of United Nations thing. Peace around the world, maybe something like that. I've never really liked that film, except for the sort of swirly stuff. So this is a kind of an early proof. Early proof of that print of the. Another kind of quick figure watercolor. Other prints. These were done on like styrofoam, so from fast food containers, and then turned into a relief print, so it wasn't a terribly good one. This was sort of similar scribble drawing portrait. Some friends in school. And this one actually is a kind of a good start to a drawing, but it's not a finished drawing, so I don't really want to keep that. What's this one? Oh, this is a pencil drawing. Done some very detailed pencil drawings, self-portraits, and other drawings. So that's part of kind of the self-portrait series of work. These are some prints I did, lithography again. John with a, I I'll show you guys. Why not? They're wrapped up nicely so they don't get dirty. I have charcoal all over my fingers, so I'm trying to be gentle here. Like a little rose flower kind of fun for like Mother's Day kind of thing. This is another print that I did as a figure. Sorry, it's through tracing paper, and this is another one of that orchid. So these are actually ones that are like decent quality, and I wrapped them up to keep them clean, kind of to keep for posterity. These are copies of drawings by I want to say my great-grandfather. I say that is because I have this one. This is my grandmother's. She did some pattern and fabric design and paints. So yeah, this is my great-grandfather. So this and that other elephant were his work. They're just photocopies. This one's just like a silly drawing. Okay. This is portfolio work for a class. This one is to Vivaldi Spring Suite. These sort of cutouts of magazine colors or something. This was a class on visual issues, so it's not terribly exciting. This was, I don't know what that is. Oh, it was the basis for this thing. I'll keep that just because it's kind of fun. This was a writing assignment about another piece of art. This is like mixing color theory. Open this. It's like value studies. Different papers were crumpled up in different ways. These are all kind of good ideas for learning things. It's just drawing in my kitchen when I was in college. There's another little portfolio. Teaching us skills that were not very useful for anybody but people that used to be professional, I guess, artists. Collage. Getting back into that. And then this was a pencil drawing of a part of that collage. Color pencil drawing. This is a color pencil drawing of the same kitchen. Photography laid out. Kind of nice. A self-portrait that was made into a cardboard sculpture, actually. That was, I'm not gonna say it was fun because it made me want to cry when I was working on it, the actual sculpture. This one is Boston skyline. I still kind of miss Boston, so I'm gonna keep that. I like it. Sort of cubist, weird composition. This portrait, I like the model we had. It was like really cool. But the portrait, actually, I don't like very much. I just enjoyed drawing that model. He was very good at standing still, very kind of interesting features and just was interesting to draw. This I would say is a better piece of him sort of just a little rough around the edges kind of feeling. Sorry, my hands were like, the water was black when I washed them just a minute ago. There's another charcoal one that's just super messy. It's just I know this is messy, but this is a portrait of a family member. Both the links, so I'm gonna keep those just for funsies. Ooh, this is another charcoal one. Sorry, it's going straight in the trash. I don't know if it's just having kids, but mess like makes me want to cringe. What kind of drawing is you doing to try and just get rid of some paper I have? That's a figure. The best or the worst. Probably could chuck it. This one's going, so it's not good. Might save one just to cover up this charcoal drawing so it doesn't go all over everything. These drawings here. This is a self-portrait kind of creepy, weird psychology there. I had this one teacher in school who I actually liked him as a person. He was very calm and like would talk about stuff. These are caricatures I did in school, and I kind of enjoyed him as a teacher, but I didn't like his assignments. Like they were just boring as could be. And honestly, his paintings were boring. They were like stop signs and street corners and like very sort of boring parts of life. Most of the pictures, just a lot of the stuff that I just chucked is from his classes, and like they're just bore me to death when I look at them. So, reason why I don't want to keep them, because they are boring. Okay, another one. You ready? You're probably wondering at this point, like, are these ever going to end? How many does she have? I wonder that too sometimes. This portfolio has some fun stuff. These are my drawings from when I was like 6. I've shown them to my kids. That's kind of fun. Maybe I'll show them to you guys sometime. But we'll keep those aside for right now. This one is a drawing I actually really like. This is what I was talking about, drawing on black paper and the luminosity that you get by leaving the shadows black, and then you can just create this kind of light that comes out of it, and you can clearly tell it's a night image because you didn't have to fill in all this black, but there's still light there. That's kind of a hazy atmospheric feel. It's got some problems. I forget what I spilled on here, so it's got some like drippies on it, but it's something that this is the piece that I like a lot. And some of these are mine and some of these are my mom's from when she was a kid. I'll probably go through these another time. My mom is not a visual artist, so they're kind of just like her schoolwork when she was a kid. Most of my portraits end up looking really grumpy, if you will. This one, I don't know that this one has that luminosity to it that I was talking about with the black paper, but it's kind of interesting when you draw color on black with the colored pencils. It actually does work, and you can do it. This was another one, a little bit different. kind of glowy, more glowy. Doesn't use the black to as good effect as that house, I feel like. I'm gonna chalk this. I mean, it's a lot of work that went into shading and doing it kind of photorealistic, but it's not something I can finish, and it's just kind of a weird picture. I've kept some of these because they've been matted, right? They've got a matte on them and they're kind of nicely done, but it's not a nice picture. I don't really like it. I have like a blank empty mat here that I'm gonna toss. It's kind of dingy and dirty. It doesn't need to stay here. This, I don't necessarily need to keep this, but I kind of actually like this. Not so much this up here, maybe even not this, but these two. So I might cut that out and just keep these two, because I feel like that is drawing that I like to do, or at least used to like to do. I don't do as much realistic work as I used to with pencil. I do more with watercolor when I do it, and I sometimes do more abstract when I feel like going loose. But this is kind of the kind of boldness that you can get through the black paper. And it seems weird, but that's something I like about it. This was just a figure study. It's another nude. I'm not going to show that just because of the weird YouTube-ness. This is a drawing of crumpled paper. Don't really need that, do we? This one was a study on complementary colors. Very complimentary. I don't need it. Another one, some squash. Again, unless I was putting it up for Halloween or Thanksgiving decorations, I don't think I would use it. So really just get rid of those. I didn't bring it back this time, but I put them in a pile and I take them out. Hopefully no one walks in. Oh, this is a family tree that I did a long time ago. I have to look through that, but maybe I'll want to toss it. Let's see, there's a portrait of my grandmother. This one was like parts of machines and kind of weird, surrealistic things. I'm not a big fan of it. I thought I was, but not anymore. It's another sort of still life. This one, I'm from Finland, and I'm not even sure what that architectural plan is. It's something to do with Finland. Another watercolor. This was one of those ones where the guy was laying down. And it's not my favorite, but you know, I'm like, I don't really like it. And this was just a value study, kind of contrasty composition. I'm not sure what it is with these assignments where you do collage and then you draw, but this is another one. They were not my idea, they were assignments that were done. And these are figure studies with like, this is when I was talking about the eye, but it's like really zoomed in close. I think I'll keep that one. I kind of like that one with some of these others. Let's see. This one looks, yep, messy, charcoal. This one was rubbings from kind of like a glue drawing. It's hard to describe. I literally drew on a mat board with glue, put some foil over it, and then did a rubbing of that. It was fun, but not really what I want to keep. Let's see, there's some kind of weird, surrealist, cubist influence stuff. Let's see, what's this? I have to peek before I show you guys, so I don't know what it is. Yeah, this was a drawing. It wasn't on very good paper, so I'm not terribly excited about it. This was based on a Dali painting. Not terribly excited about that one. Some stuff inspired sketches. This was the actual foam that was used to print that hamburger guy. I'm kind of curious. It looks like it's been dented a few times. It might print, but I don't see the point of keeping it. And those were more rubbings of that. So that's done. I'm gonna take those and chuck them in the trash. And we have one more portfolio. It's all figure drawings. I'm gonna clean up this floor first, and then. Alright guys, I still have that one portfolio of figurative work. I'm not sure I can handle that today. I'm a little bit tired, so I think we'll save that for another day. It's pretty organized and contained in a nice black case rather than one of the flimsy ones. So I'm gonna keep that there for now. I'm looking at one of my portfolios. It's looking really ragged, like it's gonna fall apart soon. That's the last one we just did. So I probably need to figure out getting rid of that and finding a better solution for that portfolio. Still thinking about a way I could create a flat file to store my artwork in. But until then, I have this system with my portfolios for now. So thanks guys for sticking through and helping me clear that out. And if you like and subscribe this, that would be awesome. If it helped you in any way, I hope you enjoyed clearing out some artwork and you were able to look through and kind of see how you could clear out some of your old stuff. You know, as artists, I feel like the artists are babies and we're told to like that it's precious and what artists create is magical and wonderful. And like you think about the hundreds of pieces that someone like Picasso made and actually sold, and he was a businessman. Like that's art as a business is very different from art as a hobby. You know, it's creating work that's presentable to the public and has a cohesive image that you can show to people and share with other people. And so that's kind of where I'm at, like just getting rid of the noise, you know? And I have a feeling once this open studio is over, I'm gonna strip some of those canvases out there and get rid of them because they don't fit the work that I do now. They really look different from that because they're some of it's student work. And, you know, maybe I'll show you guys and tell me whether you want to keep it or not. But, yeah, get some input. And, you know, but I can tell you I've already done that with piles of canvases. I have a whole roll of paintings here. And I think there's another one in my closet. There's actually two in here. It's not just all canvases. But, you know, this is kind of like, I strip the stretchers and then I can put new canvas on it and paint new painting. These are just kind of kept for posterity. I'll probably go through and see if I actually want to keep those or not, or if I want to maybe chuck some of those too, because space is a premium these days, you know, and so I'm trying to kind of whittle down to what's essential, what's important, and I feel like there's a lot of stuff that's sticking around. I have some like calligraphy sitting over there that I'm like, where do I put that? I don't have a place to store my calligraphy work after I've done it. So I haven't done a ton of it because I have nowhere to put it. So I'm gonna need a new portfolio for that one to keep them in, because that's very neat work, very tidy work, and if it gets messy with like, you know, charcoal, it's ruined. I might as well chuck it. So, you know, go through that and figure it out. See you guys in the next video.